And then subhanAllah, this is the one point inshallah very important. خطورة المال والجاه والنساء على الدعوة. They try to tempt him with money, with jah, with status, and with women. And this is the biggest khutura, biggest danger for du'at ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you start giving da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you start, and it's very relevant for us in our modern days, when you start calling to Allah, when you have a platform, when you have, you slowly rise, you start off sincere, shaitan will come like these people did. وَلَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ, Allah says, shaitan says, وَلَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ وَلَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ, I will misguide them, and I will beautify for them. And the biggest fitna that comes to du'ats, to calls to Allah, is money, is status and fame, and finally what? Is women. There's no three things that destroy a da'i than these three. Money, fame, and nisa. And how many stories do we know? Someone starts off sincere, and as soon as they get any one of them, and if they get this whole trifecta, Allahu Akbar, finished. And as the Prophet says, you have to be very, very careful to separate your cause from any of these three things. And your cause is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to yourself. Always make sure you're sincere. That's why we mentioned another time we'll talk about what does it take. From this is what the Prophet at the same time, the Sahaba, they're being trained on certain a'mal. They're doing da'wah fi sabilillah, but Allah in the background is training them. They're doing qiyamul layl every night. They're going out giving sadaqah. They're freeing the masakeen, the riqab, those who are. They're doing all of these deeds. They're doing hijrah fi sabilillah. They're doing jihad fi sabilillah. They are sacrificing so much. When you're in the opposite, like, a'udhu billah, I'm sitting now in the seat, and you're always engaging and talking, you're always al-yad al-a'la, you're always on top, always talking, you get this superiority. But Islam is never this. When you're calling to Allah, you have to be the one always in service to the people. You're da'i to Allah, not to yourself. And those who you're calling to Allah, you have to serve them. Sayyidul qawm khadimuhum. You are serving them, you are in their need, fi hajatihim. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he had clinic hours, you could say, where he would receive the people, he would deal with their situations, he would talk to them, solve their problems. This is for the khidmatihim. In his majalis, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you could not recognize him from the Sahaba because of how he was dressed, how he would sit, how he would sleep. Nothing took him away from the sleep fi sabilillah, and they were offered him everything. If he wasn't not poor, but he was not someone wealthy out of choice. They said, you know, when he was sleeping, they would find the marking on his back from the marking of the straw mat he would sleep on. They mentioned, when there was a famous story mentioned, when the companions came, travelers came for food, he had nothing at home, so he had nothing to eat. He sent the servants to his house, they found nothing in his house to eat. He didn't know, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said, who will host this family? And Talha takes. So he's a simple man, mal. Jah is the biggest one. The status and fame, when it comes to someone individually, they become compromised. They do those things that then increases them in their jah, and they will stop things that doesn't. For example, again, giving a practical example of social media. Social media is very important, but you have to know its limitations. Problem with da'wah now, I'm saying this, and I use social media. Problem now is people see social media as the only place for da'wah. It is a tool from the tools, but it is a tool that you utilize, you use, not to live on. For example, your real da'wah is the real life. Your family, your friends, your community, your real life interactions. This is the da'wah. You have to know the people you're calling to. On social media, you can make benefit, you can make a wide net, you can cause to Allah, of course, you should do so. But don't make that your biggest form of da'wah. Again, this is so generic who you're talking to, and rather what social media is designed with, it's a personal feedback for yourself. So you see what? The likes, the comments, which video does good, which video doesn't do good. So you respond and you create more videos or content based on what goes viral. And the truth is not something that goes viral. So you will alter and you will doctor and you will change the method of your video and the message sometimes because you want it to go viral, and then it becomes very murky. Someone can say, no, you have to make sure, of course, that da'wah is something which is very important. You have to make sure it's palatable. That's true as well. But you have to be very, very careful. That's what the way you look at the maqayis, measure, what am I doing da'wah? My da'wah in real life, in person, has to outweigh my da'wah in online. That's the only way. Be online, that's fine, but make sure I have a masjid I pray at. I know my masjid. I know my imam. I know the locals who are praying in the masjid. I have an ustad. I have a local community that I'm active with. Either I'm learning or I'm benefiting, I'm supporting something in person, in life, in real life. And online is just another addition. I do something to spread, to call people to Allah, to come to what we're doing here maybe, or to call generally to Allah, and someone responds. It's good, you have the open. And the practical advice I give now, practical advice for those of you who are in that space, and I am in this space as well, is you remove yourself. So you have an account, have multiple people running your account for you. And you don't read the comments, you don't look at the likes or the messages. You have someone managing that for you, so you are removed from this. So any positive comment doesn't get to you, any negative comment doesn't get to you, and you continue your da'wah, and the feedback people give, you respond to that and you create what you want to do. And this is something which is sincere. Whereas if you're responding to everyone, this is not the da'wah of Islam. Someone likes it, yes, I will do more of this. You don't like it, I will stop doing this. You have to be smart, be clever, but be very careful, because this can kill you and destroy your da'wah, and this will change over time. And finally, of course, an-nisa. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, there is nothing that was given, مَا تَرَكْتُ بَعْدِ فِتْنَةً أَضَرَّ عَلَى الرِّجَالِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. All you men, you know this. Al-Bukhari, there is no fitna which is more harmful, more difficult I have left for my ummah after me, rather than the women. Sawa'un, and it mentions, this can be in different ways. People think nisa means what? Fitna and haram, and la, it can be even halal. If you have a wife who doesn't understand da'wah, she can prevent you. And this happened, some of the Sahaba, they couldn't go for jihad. شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فاستغفر لنا إنما أموالكم وأولادكم إنما أزواجكم عدوا لكم فاحذروهم وإن تعفوا وتصفحوا وتغفروا. Be careful, your family sometimes can be fitna in good and in bad as well. Or it can be, of course, a woman, fatina, she calls for you and for her, you create fitna, so be very, very careful.